Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Troy got to have his moment, as he should.
Yes, totally. So,
So
where are you right now?
I'm in Joel Crosby's studio, everyone.
No way.
Yeah. Talk about amazing relationships and collaborations. And we're doing our tour, and he said, "Do you want to teach your fast workshop at my studio when you're driving through Atlanta?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I do want to do that." And so Brad and I left Pennsylvania on Sunday, went to North Carolina, stayed the night, and then we got down to Atlanta yesterday and got to have dinner with him and his amazing wife. And now we're here, and I'm going to be teaching some semi-privates, my fast workshop. People are going to join virtually as well, which is so fun. And then yeah,
And then on to the next.
and then on to Miami. Yeah.
What a great, like you're just doing such a cool thing. That's like road trips, like Pilates, road trips, meeting people, having fun, seeing the country. We're ticking all the boxes here.
Well, we just put everything that you like in one thing. And I think one of the things, just I loved your talk about cars, even though I don't do anything with cars. Like, I think a lot of life lessons can come from things. And we can definitely talk about the confidence of trying something they're scared of doing. But 4 years ago, I think it was 4 years, 2018, Brad and I drove across country for Christmas because I had been traveling over 100,000 miles for work. And I just said, I'm not doing Christmas travel. I want to stay home. I don't want to fly. It's not the most fun. And so we went on a road trip instead. He's like, I said, I'll drive if you want to drive. So we drove across the country with we only had two dogs then. And people were like, hey, are you teaching while you're driving? And I was like, y'all want Pilates at Christmas? Because I was in LA and like no one's in town, right? I usually take the whole
Right.
month of December. And so y'all write this down. Like, how do you know what the next thing is to do? Listen to the questions you're being asked. So I was asked in all these cities. And so the next year we just said, hey, who wants a pop-up class? My husband's a musician. He's been on tour before. So he just took me on tour and we did 8 cities in 2019. And it was
Yes.
so fun. And we intended to do 3 tours in 2020. Obviously didn't happen, but
Mhm.
as soon as it felt like we could do this year was a mini tour. We dropped it down to 4 cities. But still, like, it is all the stuff. I love seeing people in person. I love
Yeah.
teaching. We love road tripping. We love going to antique shops and seeing our friends. And so you just put the things together. So yeah, it's all because of like the questions I was asked.
Yes. That's a good point because I know people who are watching this and people who will watch after have their own vision where they're pulling together. Yes, my wife is like, yes, please. Yeah, so where they're pulling together their vision and it's just like marrying all those pieces. So, for me and you, it's road trips, but for someone else, it may be something totally different. So I love just hearing what are your people asking? What is your community, your kind of global community need from you, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to like it. You don't have to actually do it, but
Mhm.
we tested it out and we actually really loved it. And so we invested in the van. So the cargo van y'all see, it's really a cargo van. We insulated it and soundproofed it, but it is still cargo van life. However, like we didn't buy that, right? Like just like they were talking about with your car, you don't just start changing some motor or something. You start
Yes,
with waxing the car.
yes,
Start maybe with an oil change. You start
right.
small. So we went from like a small SUV to renting a big SUV. And then we're like, okay, the next year we're like, so last year we went to the Ford dealership, bought the van, loaded a guest bed in it, loaded all our Christmas presents and took off. It was very cold. It was very loud, but baby steps.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, exactly. So those like that's exactly it. So I love those fundamentals. Um, let's just jump into the agency things. I just love to hear what's going on with that for this, and if you could just explain what it is and what the mini is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that. And then I want to
Mm,
definitely talk about like confidence and fundamentals and planning because I
absolutely.
think people want to hear that.
Mm,
So agency turns 4 in like I don't know, a week. When's the new year? Next week. It turns four
yes.
years. So I started, y'all talk about like, you are looking at something that has grown over, I've been coaching people for over 8 years and teaching workshops for 12. So we started agency with 5 people. 4 of them still are part of it. We're turning 4. And now we have over 150 at any given
There's
time.
Joe.
Hi, Joel. And and so what it is, it's an online coaching community. I wanted to create a safe space that teachers of any background, so it doesn't matter who trained you, it doesn't matter, of any level. So we have people who are still finishing a training, and we have members who have been teaching for 20, 30 years, can be in a
Yes.
space. Studio owners and employees and renters can be in the same space and actually ask questions without judgment, without criticism, without
Yes.
why would you teach that? Like nothing like that at all. And it is a very safe community. What's so cool is in that community, an employer can say, I'm frustrated, one of my teachers keeps showing up late. And the employees in the room can go, hey, have you asked her? Have you talked to her? Like, what are the expectations you gave her? My boss handled it this way. And they can actually hear, or an employee can say, I really want a raise. I'm one of the busiest teachers at the studio. I haven't had a raise in 3 years. How do I ask for one? And a studio owner can say, I wish someone would actually understand how much thing, here's what I would do. And so they can really
Yes.
support each other. But also you get coaching from Brad and I, my husband. He is a musician, but he's actually was the COO of a huge corporation who had all these small startups. And so he has taken businesses to sell, made products, sourced products, hired, fired, built websites. And so he has all that tech hiring, product management skills. And
Yes.
then I obviously teach Pilates. So I've been a renter, studio owner, studio manager, teacher, trainer, retreat. I've done it all. I've been in
Yes.
everyone's shoes. So I can actually talk to you and be in your shoes and really help you understand like what are your first next steps. And so we
Mm-hmm.
really do help people who don't have the confidence to put themselves on YouTube. We can help them with getting those first steps to make them feel confident. Okay, go live on your Instagram, do that, right? Like how do we help people? So
Yes.
it's really cool. And then we bring in guest speakers. My my last guest speaker was one of the strategists for $1 trillion companies, just in there to talk about how do you align your vision for next year with your values.
Yes.
I brought in my therapist to talk about surviving survival mode and like noticing if you're constantly deregulating and living in that space. Because I see a lot of teachers, especially right now with like
Yes.
Omicron growing, people are freaking out. It's like, actually, take a step back. This isn't the same. This isn't the same as March 2020. This is a very different situation. And if you revert back to how you were in March 2020, what did you do? You lowered your rates. Most people, they started
Mm-hmm.
saying yes on their days off. They went to do all these things. If we do that now, you're not actually building up your immunity. You're not setting yourself up for success for 2022. Um, all those things. And so it's just super important that I wanted to create a space where people would feel like they could freak out, not be
Yes.
judged, and then get called on there. Some go, hey, you remember, like you said, you want to do this. So
Yes. Yes.
agency mini, which is what you have on the bottom, that's my 7-day version because I do understand it's hard to commit to something. If you've never hired a coach, if you've never invested in your business outside of your teacher training, it is scary. I get it. So our agency mini is Brad and my way of supporting the Pilates community, the fitness community. We can allow a bunch of people in and support you for 7 days. And if you like that support, then hopefully you join us in our agency community and we get to
Yes.
continue on. And so this will be our 6th one. And the door is open today to sign up, and it's 60% off if you sign up today. So that's the commercial.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've done the agency mini before in the past, and it's one of those things where every time it's coming up, I reach out to you, Lesley, and just say like, come on, talk about it, paint the picture, because I know for someone who is trying to figure out life in this Pilates space or fitness space, and I know some personal trainers who are just starting out, you're figuring things out on your own,
Yeah.
and you
If you
feel like you can't
you
afford to recruit someone to help you figure it out yet because you're not there yet. You're not big enough to
I'm not
hire a
ready.
consultant.
Hmm.
You're not ready, or that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
this is a good way to kind of dip your toe in the water and figure out where you need to go and what your potential is. Like it's good to
Hmm.
hear from your peers that you have a good idea, that you're on the right track. This is the pivot that you need to make, or this is the 180-degree turn that you need to make, and you'll be good.
Right. And also to like also maybe tell you don't have to do something. Like a lot of
Hmm.
teachers come in there and they're like freaking out about social media. And I'm like, okay, tell me what your goals are. Oh, I'm in a small town. I want to teach only in person. I only need to teach 15 hours a week. You don't need Instagram for your business. You don't. You need to know the coffee shop owner and the doctor and the therapist and the chiropractor in town. So guess what? You can be on Instagram for fun, or you cannot be on it all. How cool would that be?
Hmm.
There's a whole world out there. And
Yes.
so to give people the freedom that you don't have to be posting a reel a day, you don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 1,000 followers. If you are just trying to teach 15 hours a week, if you had 100 followers, that'd be more than enough. Like, because the reality is like, not every business is the same. And if you are looking to the internet to figure out like what you should be doing next, you are going to be given a ton of ideas, and maybe none of them align with your visions and your values, right? So
Right.
I really love helping people. And the other thing we do is some people have some great ideas for their online platform. They're charging $3. Okay, do you know how many people
Hmm.
you need to make a
Right.
living?
Yeah.
And so we really help them, because it's like you'd have to get 1,000 members. And guess what? There's a thing called churn, which means basically every 90 days, you have to replace every member with 2 new people. So that is a numbers game, right? So how do we change it so you don't need 1,000 people? What if you only need 50 people or 40 people? And
Hmm.
so I just really like to help demystify the crazy world that we live in, and also get people to stop looking at their neighbor as the one
Thank
to
you.
compare their model to. You
Yes.
don't know if they're profitable. Maybe they owned the building from their family, so they don't have any rent. You don't know. So
Hmm.
I just really like having honest conversations with people,
Yes.
and helping them see a path for their vision. And it doesn't have to be working 6 days a week.
And there's this sweet spot between the technical knowledge and the inner work that you need to get there,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I feel like we always need to be wading through that, because you're right. I can get some technical knowledge and realize that I'm free from having to go on the social media train because I need a referral based business, but then I'm afraid to actually ask for help. I'm
Right.
afraid of rejection. I'm afraid to
Oh.
go out and knock on the door of that physiotherapy clinic that's 2 doors down from here,
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing, right?
Well, you and I were talking about fear. Like, we wanted to talk about fear. And so
Hmm.
there's 5 fears. Joel, I love it. Yeah, he was in an agency mini, one of our earlier ones. And it was so fun because I love his business and I love seeing it grow. And so fear, there's 5: fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of responsibility, fear of success, and fear of failure. Okay. It is possible to have all 5, but generally what I see in teachers is fear of rejection and fear of loss. Those two.
Yes.
I'm afraid to raise my rates because I'm going to lose clients. So here's the
Hmm.
deal. Even if you, my favorite is, I'm afraid to raise my rates. Okay, how much are you raising them? $2. No one is leaving you for $2. And if they are, they were
Right.
going to leave you anyways. You just gave them an excuse. Like say the fear out loud, everyone. So like, I can't hear you, but you're watching this. Like, out of those 5 fears, which one do you think you have?
Yeah. Or type it
So,
in the comment section
or
so we
type
can
it in the
just get it,
comments.
just so we can
So
understand who's here.
I'll share. I have a fear of success, like serious fear of success. And people be like, why would you be afraid of success? I've never seen it. No one in my family has made more than $50,000, $60,000 a year. No one in my family has made a business, right? No one in my family has had to make their own retirement. So there's a fear there. I have friends who are very similar in parts of the business. That I have an online platform. My friends own Flies Anytime. I'm afraid that if I'm successful, they won't like me anymore. These are like,
Mm,
now, obviously saying it out loud, how dumb does, like, that sounds so silly,
right.
but it's a real fear and you're allowed to have that. And so
Yes.
when you can figure out what your fears are, it's easier for you to call them out and say, I'm struggling with raising my rates because I'm fear I'm going to lose my clients. Okay, great. Let's talk about your rate increase. If you raise your rates 10%, you can lose 10% of your clients, make the same amount of money in less time.
Yes.
So you're not actually losing something. Does it suck you lost a client? Yeah, but we're not going to keep every client forever anyways, right?
Hmm.
So
Right.
so that is like, having those conversations is really important, and understanding like it's okay to fear failure. Oh my gosh, a ton of Pilates teachers have fears of failure because most of us are recovering perfectionists, or we say we're
Yes.
procrastinators, but it's perfection in disguise.
Hmm.
And so, so really figuring that out, it makes it really easy for you to see that and then go, okay, well, what is the first next step to go? So if you're afraid of being rejected, if you're afraid of going to that coffee shop and saying, hey, I'm a Pilates teacher in town, I have this great class, I'd love to
Yes.
teach in your parking lot. Okay, so let's talk about what the worst case scenario is.
Yes.
What's the worst? What would you think is the worst case, Martin?
They say no.
Are you still alive?
Yes.
Right. To me, the worst case scenario is death. If I'm not going to
Right.
die, then if they say no, it might be embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It might hurt or sting a little, but it's actually not personal. Them saying no to you does not mean, Martin, you're not good enough. They don't know you.
Right.
It just means whatever you suggested doesn't work for them.
Yes. Pause for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like the most base conversation, Lesley, but isn't it funny how we all go through this in our head with
Mm-hmm.
something?
Yeah, because we're doing it alone. If you're in
Right.
your
Yes,
head
you're
is
in your
this
head.
big.
Yes.
Your fear feels really big. It feels really like it's taking up all the space. But when you call it out, doesn't it
Right.
seem so base? It does like
Yes.
it it really is. And I think that is why I wanted to create a coaching community, because I want people to say, I'm about to raise my rates. I'm really fucking scared. And I
Hmm.
don't want people to be like, well, how much are you raising your rate for? Oh my God, are you afraid you're gonna lose clients? Because that's what I see
Yes.
happening in Facebook groups, right?
Hmm.
Because everyone else's fear is being projected onto you.
Yes, for sure. It just magnifies it.
Right. But in my communities, you get people going, oh my God, you got this. I'm doing it too. Oh, let me know how it goes. You can do it. Like, you get this support. Why? Because everybody has the same fear as you, and everyone knows that
Yes.
they're in it together. But
Right.
we all try to do it. I'm going to do it by myself.
Hmm.
You would never break your engine down by yourself. You would probably talk to someone, you do some research, you make sure you found the right expert online who knew the right thing. You
Yes.
probably in this day and age would DM them because you could,
Hmm.
right? You would never just go, you know what I'm gonna do? Fix this motor by myself
Right.
without, no.
Without any, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
When talking about the success, the fear of success, one of the ways that that manifests for me is I will give myself more and more projects so that I can have seven things on the go and use the excuse that I have seven things on the go
Mm-hmm.
as a reason why one of them didn't exceed my
Mm-hmm.
expectations. It's
Yeah.
easier to have a bunch of things going and be like, well, I was so busy, that's why this didn't
Mm-hmm.
succeed, than to put
Mm-hmm.
all my eggs in that one basket
Mm-hmm.
and embrace the success or embrace its failure.
Mm-hmm.
I've
And
had to work
also,
through that.
oh, I've been there. I mean, Brad and I always tell people you can't boil an ocean. I think what's really cool is we tried. So I can say this from a space of like absolute experience. We launched Agency Mini and onlinepilatesclasses.com at the same time.
Mhm.
Only one could grow. I could not teach the 20 hours a week I was teaching, travel 100,000 miles, and grow two new businesses.
Right.
So the one that was growing, it wasn't growing very fast, by the way. It was like inching along. I had to literally go, okay, OPC exists and
Mhm.
it's there, and I'm not going to ignore it, but I am having to go all in here and grow this thing. And it wasn't
Yes.
until 2020 that I could actually go back to OPC and actually start to grow that. So it existed already for several years, but it was
Mhm.
less than 100 members in 2020. Now it's 400, but that is because I actually took a pause, put my
Yes.
eggs in one basket, risked it, learned a lot, and then applied what I learned in Profit Applies to that. And so here's the
Yes.
thing, it's not failure if you learn something.
Absolutely. Or if you slow down the growth process, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things that we're doing on a life cycle, and we think the life cycle is the next 3 weeks, but OPC can have a 20-year life cycle. So if you're slowing it down so it can grow well instead of fast,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a whole different thing.
Well, and it's like, why? But that is, I think even for you, where you're going to like having all those things going, it's because you're like, okay, I'm gonna see what's gonna stick, and I'm gonna see what's gonna grow, and I like all these things, and it's like you can have all the ideas, but what I have learned in all the research that I do, and all the strategists that I have hired, that I brought in, is you have to get known for something before you can do everything, right?
Right.
Like Tony Robbins now teaches on money and relationships and all this stuff, but he started with just goals,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Brene Brown, now she teaches about leadership, but she started out with just vulnerability.
Hmm.
So every single one of you listening, you can't, if you have all these ideas, it's great. Get known in your community. Even if you want to be known globally, get known in your community. I was known in LA for
Yes.
wearing lipstick, but also I was known for helping people with their businesses. And then Joel and Vintage Pilates, they hired me, right?
Hmm.
And they brought me in. And then because of that, then I got even bigger. And then people are like, oh, you teach Pilates? So then I got really
Yes.
known in Pilates. So it's really like, it is a struggle because we're like, I have to be doing it all because you see people doing it all. But you
Right.
didn't see that it took it water 20 years to actually get known, you know?
Hmm. Right. Absolutely. For those of you who are in the chat right now, show of hands, a little show of hand icon, if you are starting a new project in January.
Yeah, I want to
Just
know.
out of curiosity, I'd love to hear if anyone is taking a big step with their business and just trying something new in January.
Are
Just out of
you?
curiosity. Um, Not in Pilates. I'm jumping into the political arena
That's right, because are you running
I'm
for city council?
ready for city
I
council.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, that being said, my business is at a spot where it's growing and at a good pace. So I'm going to continue to nurture that while
Hmm.
jumping into this over here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Good for you.
Thank
Mzuko
you.
is starting something new. That's amazing. You got this. I mean, you know, we are,
Yours truly designed. Show of hands. Nice.
yes, yes. I want to know what it is. We're not, are we starting anything new? Well, I am. I launched a mentorship program this fall.
Nice.
and and we sold it out.
Hmm.
So it'll start in January. And we also launched a business retreat, in-person business retreat, and that will be in March.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I'll tell you all who are trying something new. I want you to dream big. I want you to see it all the way through. I want you to get really clear on it. And then I want you to actually write down like the step before that, and then the step before that, and the step before
Yes.
that, and the step before that, and get to what seems like the smallest, tiniest step possible.
Hmm.
Because then you can actually take action. Action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear, period. So you were scared of working on your car. You had all these parts. You were scared.
Yes. Yes.
Well, once you started doing some work on the car, that fear got a little less. You could look at those parts. You weren't ready for them yet, but you got a little more clarity, got a little less. And then you
Yes.
started doing more action. And every single person watching this as a teacher, it was probably so scary to be the first time you had to teach somebody, even though they're probably another apprentice. Like so scary to like hear the words coming out of your mouth, right?
Yes.
But then you did it and you're like, oh, okay. And you did it again. And then you did it again. And you got more clarity on like, how do I actually get them to roll up? That word didn't work. And you start to gain this confidence. You start to get this clarity and the fear dissipates. So if you can, you don't go, none of you are like, okay, I'm gonna go teach a class of 30 the first time I teach. No, you taught one person, probably an exercise. So
Yes.
take your goal for January, bring it down to the smallest possible level. And I promise you, you're gonna you're gonna get confidence in something that's scary and new.
Can I give a example, a practical example of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so for my city council, I have to start campaigning and getting out there and doing all these different things and being known and visible.
It's
And
gotta
my
be so
wife,
scary.
a little bit, yeah, because like I had to go knock on doors and like, hi, my name is Martin, sort of thing, and put your neck on the line. But as I think about that big step way out there, the step yesterday was to join a local app that's for the neighborhoods. And so my wife put me onto that, and I started to get out there, and I started to ask some questions, and people were like, "Hey, I'm going to vote for you. That's great." So as I went from election day all the way back, the first step I had to do yesterday on my day off was build a digital community, get to know
Yeah.
people who live in my area locally, digitally, because eventually I'm going to go out, and then at that point, by the time I actually get out on the road, they might have seen me in one step. So just practically working my way backwards, right down to something I could do sitting at home. It's just like join an app, connect with people, say hello, create a unified, like a uniform brand, and just go
Yeah.
up from there. So it's a simple little steps that we need that build our confidence, just like the car thing. Like you do
Hmm.
one thing and then your confidence builds, and then you run with that one little piece of confidence onto the next piece, and then the next piece, and then the next piece.
That 100%. Like maybe you don't go to the coffee shop, y'all, and go, I want to teach a math class here. But maybe you go to your friend who has a book club and you say, can I teach for your book club? Right? Like you
Yes.
start with like the smallest
The
possible.
smallest possible step.
Yeah, and I know for the overachievers in the room and for the perfectionists room, that can feel so like dumb. Like it's like that's where is this
Yeah.
going? But like while I've never seen Karate Kid, I do understand that there's a whole waxing situation and he's like, where is this going? And then he like wins at the end of the movie, right? It
That's
does.
basically the movie. You don't need to
That's the
watch it now.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched Die Hard for the first time on Christmas, everyone.
Hey, that's the best Christmas movie. Sidebar.
I
There you go.
actually really, I loved it so much. Danica said it's her favorite Christmas movie. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I gotta watch this. So,
Yes.
but I promise you, I've coached over 1,000 businesses at this point. Over 1,000. What I have seen work is you get better, you get stronger at with the smallest thing possible. Amy, our Pilates was on here earlier, okay?
Yes.
She just had Pilates Fest North. Y'all,
Hmm.
she did not go, you know what I want to do? I'm going to do a festival, and I've never brought people together before. No. In her life leading up to that, she had done small, it was like Pilates and tea or Pilates, and it was for teachers to come together in her local area, right? She did
Hmm.
that first. And then she did bigger and bigger versions of that. And then she came to me and said, I'm going to do this thing. Can you help me? And I was like,
Yes.
100% can help you. Here's some suggestions. What do you want to do? And she sold it out, right? And it's not because it
Yes.
was not an overnight success. This is years
Hmm.
of the smallest thing possible.
Takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
As someone who lives in LA, yes, that is
Right.
very true.
So, but that actually, you made a good point there too, Lesley. So she, in that case, practical application, had an idea, reached out to you, and you helped bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone jump into Agency Mini with no clue what they want to do except for just what they like doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people think they have to wait till they have an idea to get a coach. I think
Mm.
sometimes, I'm someone who gets ideas off of being inspired by other things that I'm seeing. So
Yes.
um, just being in a community where you are seeing what people are doing and you can feel in your body what goes, oh, I like that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I want to know more about that. And so if you like have no idea what direction to go in, jump in because I think you're actually going to see a wealth of possibilities. And then you can start to see like which ones make your body go, hmm. Or if you get
Mm.
a little jealous, even better. Jealousy is just a
Yes.
sign of they're doing something you wish you were doing. That's all it
Hmm.
is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good barometer. But yeah, but I actually love a person who has no idea as much as the person who has too many. In fact, the person who has no idea has it easier. The person who has too many, we have to actually prioritize. Like, well, which one do
Right.
you want to do right
You know,
now?
you have to wade through everything, right?
Well, and also like, are you making your now money? Because Brad and I are very adamant. If you are not making what we call your now money, meaning your bills are paid, bills are
Yes.
paid. I'm not going to coach you on something I know takes 3 to 5 years to build. Right? I started a
Okay.
podcast this year. I wanted to start it 3 years ago. Why did I wait? Because I needed to make sure all my businesses were paying their bills, paying their employees, paying their things. Before, I was like, okay, now I'm going to start something new that's going to cost a ton of money, ton of time,
Hmm.
right? Like it's podcasts take minimum 2 years to actually make the figures that are income you could live off of. That's what
Yes.
unless you're famous already. So
Hmm.
I'm a very honest coach. And that if you want to have that, I'm going to say, do you have your schedule filled? Are you paying your bills? No, then let's do this.
Let's do that.
The lessons
Yes.
you'll learn from doing that, you'll be able to apply to that. And it's not like you don't get to work on it. It's not like we don't have time we can set aside. I teach this a lot. I teach like how do you create your ideal schedule. So the ideal schedule is you have what I call rocks, uh, glitter, and gemstones. So your rocks
Okay.
are your appointments. Your rocks are your priorities. Your rocks are when you sleep, when you do your Pilates, when you teach. Those are rocks. They're
Yes.
harder to move. They're
Hmm.
movable, but you want to put the rocks where you want to keep them ideally because they're a little more difficult to move.
Yes.
Um, Glitter is the stuff that you can do at any time. Glitter is your email. Glitter is responding to things on Instagram. Glitter is, you know, like scrolling is glitter, right?
Right.
Anything you can do in line at Starbucks or in the bathroom is glitter, right? And it gets everywhere. So that means you don't actually have to schedule in because you'll just do it. You'll
You
actually
just
do it
do
when
it.
you're procrastinating. You'll do it when you should be resting, but you can't do it, right? Gemstones you have to put in your business. This is the thing that moves the needle forward. So this
Yes.
is the marketing. This is the journaling, the thinking about the next thing. And
Hmm.
so if you're someone who has this grandiose idea, but you're not making your now money yet, I'm going to make you set aside, even if it's 15 minutes a week, that is dedicated to thinking about that idea. Because
Yes,
I do want you to be noodling it and growing it and playing around and making sure you still want to do it so that when your now
hmm,
money is set, you've already laid some foundation and you're not just starting off at
that's
zero.
good. That's good stuff. Give a thumbs up in the chat if that makes sense. That's practical things, right? Like, I mean, I think that sometimes we get lost in the dream part. We don't think about the practical now money, like you're saying, like how we actually make that. How do we float those ideas, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, people look at other people. They might look at you and I and they go, oh, I have to go live every day.
hmm,
Oh, I also have to podcast. Oh, I should run for city council. I, you don't do anything you don't want to do. And you really at first just have to do the basic stuff. Get those reps under your belt because that gets
right.
confidence.
Some of the talking points we were talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about fundamentals, we talked about fear, we talked about instruction to some degree. Let's talk about freedom.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it that wide open for you.
Well,
Because that can go so many places.
well, I think freedom is like the word success, right? What does freedom mean to you? And freedom for me means having the ability to do it, having the ability to do what my heart desires, like when I want to, and
Mhm.
not being not to me. And my first thing is because we're talking about business is like, are you working for your business or is business working for you?
Right.
And to me, freedom is my business working for me. My business does what I say it does, and it does it when I say it does it. And I don't have control
Yes.
over everything. Sometimes the internet breaks, but
Hmm.
um, my ideal schedule, my ideal day means that I wake up and I get to decide what's happening in that day, and that's freedom.
Yes.
And
Yes.
looking at all these teachers out there, freedom is not you asking your clients when do you want to come in. Freedom is you saying, I'm available on Thursday at this time. Does that work for you?
Right.
I don't know. Is that what do you think?
That's good. I think that people think that even your handle profitable Pilates is an oxymoron.
I know I'm on a mission to change that.
Yes, I know you are. That's what we're talking about. Is because that's it. I mean, that freedom. When we define that freedom, it's like it's you're telling your business where it needs to go instead of being enslaved by your business and have to take, that 19th client for the day and work 7 days a week and all those different things. You get to determine your price, your time, your availability, your clientele. Like
Yeah.
that's
Well, let's talk
you
about
know
that. So, y'all, I don't have this URL memorized, but it's in my profile. It's a free tool. Brad and I have been working really hard. I had to get one of our coders, Meredith, my project manager's on here. Hey, babe. We had to have, there's like a bunch of people on the team work on this for months. We literally coded and built our own calculator so that you can say, this is how much money I want to gross. Gross, the reason we
cool.
do gross is because every country, every state has different taxes. You got to figure yours out. So, gross means how much you want to get paid, how much you need for all the bills that run your business. If you're a studio owner, you're going to put your salary in there because you shouldn't be making money only when you teach. You need to run your studio. And so, what I see often is a lot of studio owners paying themselves as if they're a teacher of the business. And then guess what? The business is getting marketed because the studio owner needs to make money. So,
Yes.
you put all of that in for your gross income. Then you put in how many weeks a year you'll work. And the reason you don't put 52 in is because um, you need to have time off for the holidays.
Yep. I think you're cutting out there.
I was wanting to share a Wi-Fi. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we're back. Yep.
Okay, great. So you need to have time off for the holidays or vacation or sick days. Oh my gosh, teachers, you don't have to like lose money when you're sick. That is like not at all okay with me. It's not appropriate. So what we do is you put in the calculator how many weeks you want to work in a year. So you can put your vacation time, you can put your sick days in there. So let's say you put in 48. And then you put in how many days a week you'll teach, and then how many hours a day you'll teach. And what you get is this is the amount of money to charge every hour you're teaching. And if you
Yes.
charge that amount or more, and then you fill up every teaching hour you said you would, on every teaching day you said you would, you actually can be sick and go, oh, I was sick for 5 days. Well, I had 5 days of sick days paid. So you didn't lose money. You already did that, right?
Yes.
You already did. For the holidays, you have to go, oh my God, my clients are canceling. No, you said you're going to take 2 weeks off with holidays. Cancel your clients. So freedom, right, comes from knowing your numbers.
Hmm.
And you said profit people can see it as oxymoron. Honestly, the sad thing is I think more people are making money in doing Pilates than people think, and they're just not in the Facebook group saying I'm making money. Because someone
Yes.
told them bragging is wrong. That bragging is a 4-letter word and all this stuff. But the reality is I have 20 people on my team. How would Pilates be not profitable? If I
Yes.
have 20 people around the world whose livelihood relies on me, I was able to give someone a raise increase. There were people Christmas bonuses. Why? Because I know my numbers,
Yes.
and it doesn't mean that the business is hard. Freedom doesn't mean not hard.
Right.
Maybe for other people, but like it just means having the having the awareness and the knowledge of the money and the numbers, so that I'm not saying yes to things that are actually taking me away from freedom. I actually can
Yes.
confidently say no to a client. Say, I won't teach that many hours in a day. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. That's good stuff. Your, I think your audio is just a little bit off there. It sounds a bit blurry.
Yeah, I think one of my AirPods is dead. So I can hear you. I'm just going to move this in case the speaker needs to pick me up.
Yes. Nice. So yeah, and we talked about that, talking, taking the days off too. So that is good stuff. So back to our agency mini for those of
Mm-hmm.
you who are watching. So this is our early bird sign up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then once someone is signed in, they're going to get connected with it's a Facebook group.
Yes, what happens is once you sign up, you'll go to profitablepilates.com/mini. So
Okay.
profitablepilates.com/mini, MINI. You'll sign up. If you sign up today, it's 60% off. So it's $25. And it's like the last time I checked, it was over 300 something dollars in value, everyone.
Hmm.
So why did I do it for $25? It's because I actually want you to say yes. I want it to be such a no-brainer. I don't want you to go, oh my God, it's too expensive. It is cheaper than a Mac class. Okay.
Yes.
So you'll go there. You'll once you sign up, you'll get a series of emails. One in which will be like who referred you, because we do pay out our referred, and then if you upgrade the agency, and then the other thing is you'll get the links to message Brad and I, so we're connected on Messenger, and also you'll join the Facebook group. Now the Facebook group does not start till the 23rd, because I believe in creating a safe space, and
Yes.
I won't be in there until the 23rd. So, so what you'll do is you'll request to join, and then on the 23rd, my team is going to let you all in. What will happen on the 23rd is we actually do a marketing webinar. So, slightly different than past agency minis, because we have the free calculator. Now you can do your magic number on your own, and we can answer questions
Yes.
on that. But we'll actually talk about marketing in a way of like known marketing locally, and then for globally, and like what does that look like? Because I know a lot of teachers have this desire to be known more globally, and it is totally possible, but
Hmm.
we need to give you the right skill set for that. Then you have the whole week to ask me as many questions as you want in the Facebook group, and Brad is in there. Plus, we'll have ambassadors in the group to help support the community and answer questions.
Yes.
You'll have 3 days to watch the marketing replay, so no excuses if you can't be there live. You have 3 days. Why do you
Hmm.
have 3 days? I'm the accountability queen. I know too many teachers sign up for things and then they don't actually watch them. And I'm not going to let
Yes.
you do that. I'm going to make you watch it.
The
Um,
accountability queen has spoken. Go on. Yes.
and then Thursday of that week, we do the live Q&A. It's Ask Us Anything. So it's a Zoom call where everyone can ask questions, and you get to see yourself in
Yes.
other people's questions.
Yes.
And then you'll have 3 days to watch that replay. On the 29th, we kick everyone out of the group at midnight. And if you've upgraded the agency, the coaching continues. And if you didn't, you take your tools and you
Mhm.
keep going.
Just to jump on the Q&A part, people, that is such a life-giving moment. I was in the same agency meeting as Joel, and hearing the questions people are asking, it's funny how, like, humbly speaking, someone asks a question and you're like, I went through that already. I can answer this, or like in the group. And then someone asks a question like, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that for my business yet. I'm going to sit here and listen to the answer because I'm going to need that.
Yeah.
So there's this ebb and flow of celebrating where you're at in your life stage of your business, and also hearing the person who's a step ahead of you asking a question that you didn't know that you have to ask yet.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And talk about confidence building. If you hear someone ask a
What?
question and you hear me answer it and it validates how you've been doing it, how
Yes.
friggin' confident building is that for you? You're like,
What?
oh, I'm doing it right. I did it. I did that
Yes.
already. And then, so I talk about something. I thought I heard it from somebody else, but my husband has done the research and he has not found the quote from this guy. So it's quite possible that I made it up. So it's called, in life, you need plus, minus, and equals.
Okay.
You need someone who's above you. Why?
Hmm.
You need someone who you can look to for ideas, success, wisdom, right? You need a
Yes.
mentor.
Yes.
You need a equal. So we need people who are at our same level, right? Who are
Yes.
doing similar things. My friend Erica had just jumped on. She and I are equals. She has a cardio fitness platform online.
Hmm.
I have a Flies platform online. We both are building communities. Our ideal client is women. So it's really nice to like get on a phone call with her and go, oh my God, I'm in a launch right now. We're in the middle of the launch. And she understands the middle because the middle
Yes.
sucks. The middle is the waiting game. So the middle for everyone is today we open the doors for Agency Mini. Today we'll have a ton of signups. Tomorrow it
Yes.
will be like, wah, wah, wah.
Right.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Because my AirPods did
Better.
officially die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be like crickets. Then Thursday we'll have a ton of signups. Why? Because that's the last day the of the early bird. So having a friend like Erica to call, she can go, it's the middle, babe. It's the middle. You have to have an
Hmm.
equal, right?
Yes.
Inside of agency, I'm the plus, Brad's the plus, Erica Quest is in there now. She does our small group coaching calls. She's a plus.
Yes.
Everyone inside of there is pretty much equals. There are some people been
Yeah.
teaching longer or less, but they can consider them equals. The minus, some of them exist for some of the teachers inside of Agency, or they're their
Right.
team, and
Right.
or they're people that they're mentoring, or they're your
Hmm.
clients. We all need a minus because we need to be able to have, oh, I have the answer for you. Oh, let me teach you.
Yes.
We need that
Yes.
confidence builder. So yeah, so that Q&A is so fun because it can be equally confidence building and inspiring, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are the three mentors that I speak about. The look up person, the person you look up to, the person you lock arms with, and the person that you're helping up. And if you have those three people in your world, then there's someone who's going to give you guidance because they're a step ahead of you in the game. There's some person that you lock arms with because they have their kids and you have kids, or you have a business and they're like whatever it is, the same area of passion. And then there's someone who is a step behind you, and then you have just enough that you can help them to figure out the next step in their journey. And that's funny. That's a sticky one too, because sometimes we don't feel like we have the confidence or we have the answers. But the reality is that we do know enough, we are enough, and we actually can help people get to the stage that we're at, even though we're thinking about where we're going to next.
Yep. Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So it's
Hmm.
super fun. I also love the Q&A because there's just such good questions. Like, and yes, some people have the same questions every single mini. And that's
Yes.
okay because guess what? That's where they are in their journey. It is okay to have what you think is a like, oh, this is a dumb question. No
Hmm.
question. Like, I know that's the cheesy thing that every parent says, but actually,
Right.
no question's a dumb question because everyone is sitting going, oh my God, I don't want to ask this, but like, what do I do?
Yes.
Says da da da. You know, wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like
Yes.
that?
Absolutely. Such a good initiative. I mean, so many people have so many different programs out, but I really do love what you're doing with this, Leslie, and that's why I keep pushing it because I know so many people that are at different life stages, and this can be so helpful for them. I referred a friend of mine who's a personal trainer to you last time to sign up for it,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if he did or not, but I'm gonna push him again because he was
Push them
just like,
again. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and also, like, here's the thing. If you're in the service-based industry, what we
it's
teach
all the same.
is it's all the same. Okay. You just
Yep.
insert CrossFit, bar, yoga for when I say Pilates, it's all the same. Hairdressers have joined us. I've,
Yes.
it's, you know, so it's all the same. Um, the reason people just keep wanting my Wi-Fi to be shared. I'm playing Brad. um, so the reason I do it this way is there are plenty of people who've got 6-week programs, 10-week programs, 3-month programs. They want to teach you
Mhm.
how to write a landing page or copy, whatever. All those things are great if you need them. You don't even know if
Yes.
you need them half the time, and most people don't.
Right.
Like most of you really do just need the gumption to be known in your community. Like literally, you
Yes.
don't have to be an Instagram famous teacher. And I think that's really important to know. And if you want to be that person, that's great. Let's
Mhm.
help you get there in a way that makes you feel aligned, not burned out, and is aligned and true to you, right? Like that's the
Yes.
important thing. And so there is actually no template for that.
There isn't.
Right.
Is there a formula I can do for how to charge things? 100%. Money is numbers, right? That
Hmm.
like numbers are not personal, it's just energy. When it
Yes.
comes to your dreams, your values, there can't be a template because Martin, you've got a wife and you got adult growing kids and you want to be in city council. So what I would tell for you to reach your dreams is going to be very much dependent on how does it align with the time you have with your family and your other priorities versus I have no
Yes.
kids. Right? My husband and I work together.
Hmm.
We can take an idea and put it out to print in less than 90 days if we want to, if we can create the space for it. So
Yes.
it really does depend on the situation you're in. And that's why you can't compare yourself to anybody else. And that's why I don't work with templates on that. And I'm not knocking any coach who does, but it really does make a difference on who you are and where you are in your confidence and what your version of success is.
Yes. Yes. We're at 56,
I know.
but
I have to teach people.
I know. Okay, so this is the thing. People, I unapologetically push this program so much because I believe it is a good launch point for your business. Whether you know exactly what you want or you have no clue what you want, Leslie's good people to connect with, and her community are amazing. So think about it. Sign up.
Mhm.
25 bucks is nothing to learn something about yourself.
Yeah. $25, 1 week. I promise you it'll be a lot of fun. I know that Facebook groups can be scary. You can have a fake
Mhm.
name if you want to. We don't care. We don't care if you
Come
major.
with your alias. Yes.
We don't care if you join for Facebook just for the week. Kelly's saying do it. Um, I'm so grateful for you. I know you have to go. You've got clients too, but thank you for being such a proponent of what we do at Profit
Mm,
Pilates. And there's more to come, everyone. But this right now is what you need to focus on. The price does go up on the 31st, so you can pay me $25 or you can pay me $62.50. It's up to you. It's your money.
yes.
But I would love to sell it out at $25 because I really do know and believe that this information changes lives, and I want it to be a no-brainer for you.
Done. All right. 3 minutes. You can get it. I'm out. Thank you so much. And we'll talk later. Enjoy your time in Georgia and say hi to Joel
Thank
for me.
you. Thank you. I will have a good one, Martin. Bye,
Okay. Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.